PTS Project Resolve. The things I like. Welcome to the first in a two-part series of where I'm going to be discussing the PTS. For the moment, obviously, this is PTS. We do not know if all of this is staying in the game. We don't know if it's 100% coming in. We don't know if, hopefully with enough community backlash, certain things will be removed. That being said, we're going to start this off with the things I like. So we're going to have a positive video just to hopefully disperse some of the myths that I'm just perpetually grumpy. Right, to start off with then, the scaling open world loot is actually really nice. I've actually noticed a clear difference. I opened up 3 caches at one point and all 3 dropped at least some form of god roll. I mean, they were completely useless. It was like fucking Alps with crit chance or whatever. But they were all god roll. There is a clear difference in the quality of the loot that is coming. Obviously, RNG still has a play. The changes to expertise have been absolutely phenomenal. We've been spamming certain things because while in the PTS you essentially have free resources, there's caches that we can just spam and get basically a load of materials, and we've just basically been expertising everything to level 20, and you can do it relatively pretty damn cheap. I'd be hesitant to say that maybe expertising your armor is worth it, but it's certainly more worth it now than it has been, simply just because it's so much cheaper. Daily projects are in top form. If you get the Season Pass one, there is a change to the XP. It will always basically give you 1 level, essentially. You get optimization material caches, a challenging bounty, which I find weird. Why is it not heroic? A crafting blueprint. I don't know if that includes blueprints from Descent. I actually need to check. But you also get an equipment, or an item of equipment, and you also get 1 SHD calibration point. I'd like to see the SHD calibration point change, but still, this is a pretty good change. They've also increased the amount of missions that are in the loot pool for it. I actually didn't realise this at first. I'm normally quite fond of doing my daily projects, but I never actually realised that some missions weren't in the pool. But they've added Potomac Event Centre, Federal Mercy Bunker, Grand Washington Hotel, Camp White Oak, Jefferson Plaza and the DCT headquarters, which is, I suppose, theoretically pretty damn good. Now, for the normal, if you don't have the Season Pass, the normal daily project, again, you get a challenging bounty, you get enough XP for half a level, 5 specialisation points, which I kind of feel is a bit useless, because by the time you start actively grinding these sorts of things, you should have your specializations maxed, I kind of feel like, or I don't know, maybe I'm just weird. You get 2 equipment items, a recalibration cache, and again, 1 crafting blueprint. There are also changes to the Dark Zone and Conflict daily things, though I've never done these a day in my life, so I don't know if the changes are actually any good. Weekly projects have also been buffed. The change has been equivalent to 1 level for XP. I feel like that's not enough personally, but still, overall, it's a good change. The reason I don't feel it's enough because it's normally it's a weekly project. You're meant to grind these out over the course of a day or 2. However, once you get pretty competent at these, they take no longer than your normal daily project. So I kind of feel like buffing their XP just to give them at least, for those people that haven't got a little bit more efficient at doing these, I kind of feel like they do need a bit more, but still, good change. These give a heroic bounty for all factions. They drop a named cache, which is new, and they also drop 1 crafting cache, which is pretty damn good. Doing your weekly legendary is now more amazing than ever. You obviously get your 1 exotic cache, but you also get an optimization cache, a recalibration cache ×2, and 1 times gear crafting cache. These are all well and good, however, they haven't mentioned as to whether Legendary Manning or Legendary Tidal are going to be put into the weekly Legendary rotation. I would like to see this. One of the main reasons I very rarely do either of those two is because I just very rarely have a reason to. If they added these into the weekly Legendary rotation, I kind of feel like potentially, we could actually get a bit more going on in those 2 missions. The SHD requisition, that's just dumping a load of materials into the ether. Obviously, you got an exotic cache. and a crafting blueprint normally, and you'd also get some specialization points. The XP has been changed to 1 level up, so by doing this you will get 1 level up, and you'll also get 1 named item cache, which they've claimed is new, but doing the SHD recalibration requisition thing, it didn't give you a cache, it just gave you a named item. So I'm not too sure what they're looking at here. Weekly Summit has also been changed as well, which seems pretty good. I need to try and do some Summit, but the main thing here is obviously we get 1 level up worth of XP, and we now get 2 named item caches that was previously 1. Now on to the changes for weapons. Obviously, being able to put detox, will just change the 3rd attribute altogether on a lot of the exotics, is very, 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 very worthwhile. However, there are a few that just don't need it. Mantis, Nemesis, Regulus. We've been doing some playing around with them already, and please nerf is all I can say. For assault rifle changes, I'm aware everyone is excited about Eagle Bearer. However, I promise you, F2000 is where it's at the moment. With what we have currently in the PTS, Eagle Bearer can sit down. It's F2000's time to shine. So it's one thing I'm actively very excited for. F2000 is my favourite AR type, and my favourite AR of all time is the Shield Splinterer, which is what you can see me running here. Now, the great thing about this is, although the main reason it's now so powerful is because they've increased its RPM from 850 to 900, which is beautiful. However, the main real benefit throughout all of this is they've upped its magazine size from 30 to 40, which gives us so many options. We can still run the plus 20 mag to get 60 rounds in the magazine, but obviously we get the negative of the reload speed, or we can just do plus 10 rounds and go back to a normal 50 round mag but have no negative at all. Or because we still have 40 rounds in the mag, which is what I'm doing in the footage you can see here, I have that plus 10% critical hit damage mod on the magazine, 40 round mag size, but I've got 10% more crit damage. Just by having this, we have so many more viable options, and the overall performance of this is kind of great. That being said, I do feel really, really dirty having an AR with like 40 or 60 rounds in the mag. One of the main reasons I don't like Elmos that much is because 70 rounds in an AR. I don't know if it's just me clinging to reality, but try doing that in real life. You're gonna hurt someone, probably yourself. When it comes to SMG changes, there's a lot of good stuff here. However, the only thing that really actually matters is being able to put detox on Chatterbox. With full buff on Chatterbox, it is able to keep up with, it doesn't overtake and it's not quite as powerful, but it's able to keep up with Ouroboros. So if you are struggling to get Ouroboros, or you don't have anyone to do the incursion with, or you have no interest in doing the incursion, get yourself a Chatterbox with detox. Problem solved. Mostly, like 90% of it. LMG changes, the only one that actually really stands out, and I had to say it like 5 times in stream, people were clipping it, I'm making it public here. Bullet King is finally worth it. Change that shitty critical hit damage roll on the 3rd attribute to crit chance. I'm aware people are going to go, oh, damage to armor. No, crit chance. I promise you, it goes from being the worst LMG in the game to the 3rd best. It still suffers from the LMG issue, so like at large, LMGs are still kind of not worth it, but Bullet King is now actually worth a little bit of the hype so many people give it. Rifles we're not going to talk about because there's actually nothing good there. Marksman rifle is kind of weird. It's good to a point of we have a new best in slot high-end MMR, M700, and Nemesis and Mantis are firing tactical nukes. Please nerf. There is also the way in which skill attachments are now working, which is such a delight. Like, oh my god. I kind of want to say, just let me live in the PTS just for this. It is so nice. Just a lot of people are complaining that like they were able to put like the same mod but in different slots, whereas now you can't. So in some ways, some skills have been mini nerfed because of this. A good example is, I believe in one of the turrets you were able to put like 5% damage in at one point. Now you just can't. You can put the 5% damage in one area, so you're missing like 5% skill damage. That being said, the overall item management within your skill attachments is just beautiful. It is chef's kiss. It's amazing. In terms of stability, myself and Ronan have been abusing the crap out of certain things that we already knew would lag out or bug the game or this, that, the next thing. I personally haven't found any. However, Ronan does know a lot more than me, and he knows a few that I'm not, well, no one is allowed to know, which I do think he's been checking. He's not gotten back to me as to whether a lot of them are there or still present. But from what we can tell, a good few bugs in the game have been fixed / patched. There are still bugs, don't get me wrong. I would argue, because they said that they were close to like 2,000 bugs. From what I can gather, they fixed like half of them. There are still some pretty present and hilarious bugs in the game. As well as, of course, because it's a PTS, they've added some new ones. A good example of some new bugs is due to the health gating, your one-shot protection doesn't exist. So you can literally, out of nowhere, just be running down the street, and a P out of nowhere just hits you and you just flat out die. It's quite entertaining, it's quite funny, because you just be sat there going, what the hell hit me? And then you see off in the distance like a dude with a spud gun going yeah, it's kind of funny at the moment. We're hoping it does get fixed, we're hoping it is going to get removed, but it does just seem to be an issue. Thank you for Hutchler for digging into it. It does just seem to be an issue because of the way in which they've redone the health with the watch. The health gate kind of isn't applying at the moment. Another one is status, which I'm pretty sure this is meant to be for PvP only, but status is now set up into two groups. You have crowd control, shock, ensnare and blind, and damage over time, bleed, burn, poison. The more you get hit by these status effects, the more immunity you gain to them until you basically become completely immune for a certain period of time, then it resets. I'm pretty sure this is meant to be for PvP only. I could be wrong though. The reason I bring this up is quite simply, if it is for PvP only or if it is actually also meant for PvE, either way, it's working in PvE in the current PTS. We tested it with backfire. After a certain amount of like shots with backfire, the bleed just stops happening. And before people go, oh, it stops happening at 200 anyway, you sure it's not just that? No, it stops at like around 120. You just no longer get the bleed. As well as long as we're firing backfire and we stay still, like we barely miss 2 of our armor bars. But if we start running around, we can near enough kill ourselves with it if we start running around. So there's potentially some PvE plus PvP crossover here, or I could just be an idiot and this is also applying to PvE. However, it is actually really nice. Backfire with these changes could potentially become a worthwhile option. Just got to stay still, utilize Gunner to get you 10% armor back per kill, and this will literally cancel out backfire, which is going to be pretty interesting if this is actually meant to be a thing. Up next, we have Dr. Home. I like this, don't get me wrong, but it does need nerfing. We found a way with Dr. Home to basically make your team immortal, and it doesn't even require anything special. Just put Future Initiative on with Dr. Home. Shoot things. Ta-da! Immortal team. It's hilarious. Next on this list of things I like, and I'm saving the best till nearer last. I don't know if this is the last one, but one of the best things ever. Mechanical Animal and Scalpel with Future Perfection. It no longer scales to 3 skill tiers. It goes to 4 skill tiers with Overcharge, which means if you put Memento on and Technician, you can be a full red DPS build with skill tier 6. Do you know what this means for hybrid builds? Do you know what this means for tech tanks? Do you know what this means just for the overall variety of builds? And don't get me wrong, Mechanical Animal, the SIG 556, isn't the best DPS AR in the game, but oh my god, the versatility that this one weapon has, and if it comes into the live servers like this, Anyway, that is just about going to do it for this video. Hopefully you can potentially use some of this information to get as excited as I am about the PTS. However, we also do have to do the things I don't like about the PTS, so prepare for some grumpy Dod. In the meantime though, have fun, good luck, don't die. It's bad for the health.